Iron supporting food banks collects food. Iron supporting food banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons!
West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go.
Good morning. Welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to your YouTube channel if you are new around here, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. Remember, guys, all these things don't cost you a copper coin. They take a couple of seconds of your time and they help to grow the channel. We thank you very much indeed for your support. We are here to discuss match day 10 of 38. Nottingham Forest is our destination, the City Ground, and keep your eye on the ticker at the bottom. That will change in the minute. About the game that's going to unfold later this afternoon, as if by magic. There you are. That's the officials. Joining me this morning is my younger brother, Ben. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. Good. Yeah, looking forward to the game. Obviously, off the back of a good result last week, so hoping we can get a little run going.
Absolutely. I'm going to press this button as well. Got the little presentation ready. I know I said to you last night I might not have time to do it, but I found the time. So there you go. Right. So let's get cracking then, Ben. So first things first. Give us your thoughts on Nottingham Forest so far this season.
I think they've been very good, Rob, haven't they? I think they're having a really good season. I think obviously they've bought a lot of players over the last few years, but I think they've made some really good signings actually that have made in both ends of the pitch that we probably come on to a little bit. But I think obviously Chris Wood looks like he's on fire. He's a player that I've always liked. That I wish we had him in our ranks, quite frankly. And then I think they've got that Milinkovic, is it, the centre half that we was linked with. We've been linked with him over the years.
Yeah,
and they seem to be they seem to be a good side. I think they're quite solid at the back, and they're having a good season so far. But hopefully that comes to a grinding halt today.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I'll give everybody a bit of team news and yourself as well, Ben. So team players that might be missing or are definitely missing for both teams. So we'll start with the home team. So definitely out as far as they're concerned for varying reasons. Danilo and Ibrahim Sangare are out with injuries. James Ward-Prowse, he obviously can't play because we're his parent club. He's there on loan, remember. Now, there are also doubts, and I've got to be honest, as I'm about to read these names off, I'm I don't wish them any ill will in their career. Just this game would be quite nice because there are doubts over Elliot Anderson, who is their top assist maker, Chris Wood, who is their top goal scorer, Morgan Gibbs-White, who is one of their more potent players, and Jota Silva as well. So there's doubts over some key players. As far as we're concerned, we apparently have some German striker that I don't know. I've heard rumours. Fuckleg. Yes, that's the one. I rechristened him. Nicholas Fuckleg. He apparently exists. There was a photograph of him in the stands, but he was in his civvies. But apparently he plays football, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, so he's apparently not available. And Mohamed Kudus, he's still serving his suspension from losing his head against Tottenham. Other than that, we've got a pretty full strength squad. So, Ben, having got that bit out of the way, who do you think is the key player for the opposition? You've probably already alluded to it, but I'll ask the question.
No, I wrote a few down here, Rob. Obviously, I think they've got a few, and actually, it's two of the lads that you said are doubtful, and I hope, morning guys, I hope they don't play, like I say, because I think they're top players. Chris Wood, is Chris Wood. He's one of them. He's been around a long time. He doesn't seem the most sexy signing.
No.
Yeah, but he's a fucking good player. And it's like he gets better and better. And he's got a little bit of everything. Like he's quite good in the air. He's quite quick and mobile, and he's a good finisher, and he's strong. You know what I mean? I think if we play, Kilman and whoever partners him, maybe Tadibo or Mavropanos, if they're playing against Chris Wood, they're going to have a tough afternoon. Do you know what I mean? He's going to run them. He's going to be physical with them. So he's a bit of a throwback style centre forward. So yes. I think he's a key man. Gibbs White, I do like him a lot, Rob. I think he's got a lot of talent in the middle of the park. Yeah. Was he in the last England squad?
I've got a funny feeling he was, yes.
Yeah, I think, he's one of them players that he's going to get England recognition, I think, in the future. But like I say, I think it's this Milinkovic has come in. I think he's a massive lump centre half. I bet he's like about 6'5". So it's like, again, I think they're Nottingham Forest at the end of the day, but I think to try and keep a clean sheet and score against them is actually going to be quite a difficult task based on who they've got up front and who they've got at the back.
Do you also factor in that it has to be said that defensively we've not looked exactly watertight ourselves as well?
Oh, no.
Is that a concern?
Yeah, it's a concern, Rob. I mean, yeah, we've conceded quite a lot of goals. The difficult thing is, Rob, we had a poor defensive record last season. Yeah. We've pretty much overhauled our defence, and it hasn't really got any better. Do you know what I mean? So, no. But you're hoping, individually, it's an interesting one, Rob, because individually, you'd probably say, most people would think, well, Wan-Bissaka's done all right since he's come in. Kilman's done well. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, as a team, we just can't really keep a clean sheet. And I hope they all start to gel when it does come good. I mean, look, defensively has been a concern, but I'm hopeful that, the more they play together, the better it'll get.
How much of that defensive frailties that we've had so far this season, just to drill down into this whilst we're talking about it, how much of the defensive frailties do you pin on the players? How much of it do you pin on the structure, the tactical setup, etc., that the manager imparts the players to deploy?
Yeah, no, I'm with you actually, Rob, because I think we're playing a much higher line, aren't we? It seems we're playing a much higher line. The players have been asked to probably do things that are a little bit different. So it's probably 50-50, Rob. I think, you can always pinpoint with every goal sort of individual errors, but, I think what I've mentioned to you before, Rob, is that, for example, the Tottenham game, it's difficult to actually blame the defence when there's no fucking midfield. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the games, it's just been, defence versus attack against the better teams.
Yeah.
So look, I don't want to harp on about that. We got a decent win last week, albeit that might have been a bit lucky in the first half. But I just think with every week, I said this last week in the post-match, I'm just hopeful that every week Lopetegui's getting a better feel for what players he can rely on and what players he can't. And I'm hopeful that is reflected in the starting 11 today.
Yeah, Bagel FC, as I've called us of late. No, nothing in the middle. Great big hole. Right. So let's sort of like move on with our discussions. So we've obviously gonna sort of discuss starting 11s. My one will come along on one of the forthcoming slides. Give me your starting 11, Ben.
Okay, mate. So I think unsurprisingly, it's very similar to the team that finished last week, because obviously we won the game and the second half team was good. I think obviously Fabianski, you've got to keep him in goal. We've won. They've brought him in. We've won the game. He made some good saves. I think if we're playing this higher line, he's not really the sort of sweeper keeper, but maybe away from home we'll be a little bit more sort of cautious. So I'm going to go Fabianski in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Kilman, Todibo, Emerson. I think that's probably our best starting 11. Yep. I think Wan-Bissaka, it flattered to deceive me a little bit, but I hear he had a really good game last week. So I think he's, hopefully he's back on form. The midfield is a bit of a conundrum, Rob. You're struggling to really understand what our best midfield is, and
my midfield might surprise a few people when it comes up.
So I'm going to go with the midfield that finished the game in the second half. So I'm going to say Rodriguez, Alvarez, and Souček. Paquette is not in there; he's not in my starting 11, but that's based on form. I do think that midfield has got potential, because I think Rodriguez is getting more familiar with it. I think Alvarez has got more in his locker than just defensive. He has got an engine. He can burst forward and he's a decent passer. And for me, Souček, look, we're away from home. It's going to be a battle. We're going to need to nick a goal. So he's my man to fucking do that. And then the three up front, Somerville has got to start. There's no way that he can't start, in my opinion. He's been knocking on the door. He changed the game last week, so he starts wide left, Bowen wide right, and I'm going to go for Danny Ings up front, Rob. But I mean, it's a bit of a sad state of affairs that we're going back to Danny Ings.
Yeah,
but I have to say, Rob, he assisted the goal, albeit with a mishit shot, and he's won the penalty. So, without him, quite frankly, we probably lose the game last week. And everyone I've spoke to that was at the game, they said he didn't stop running. He was really up for it. And I think he needs to be rewarded with his efforts with a starting place in the team. That coincides with the fact that Antonio has not really done anything this season. I think he's had one good game against Ipswich. So look, I would start with Ings and see how it goes. If he's playing well, maybe you can swap him out for Antonio. But I think we're struggling for options up front with Fulkrug being out.
Fuck leg.
But Rob, I would like to see Luis Guilherme at some point. I want to see what this lad can do.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, that's my 11, which is largely broadly the same as yours, but a couple of key differences. I mean, the goalkeeper and the back four we're in alignment with. I've put Andy Irving in, and I actually ummed and ahed about putting Lewis Orford in, if I'm being brutally honest.
Well, mate,
I just, my reasoning is, I know that it was the midfield that finished the second half last week in Rodriguez, Alvarez, and Souček. My concern is, I'm not quite sure that midfield has enough mobility and dynamism. And Andy Irving, when I've seen him play, he has looked quite industrious. He's looked quite sort of, he gets about the park. He's got an eye for goal as well. Yeah. So and that's why I've got him just playing in the playmaker role, the 10 role, call it what you want, central attacking midfield, whatever the terminology is. I've got him slap bang in the middle. Now, he could interchange with Thomas Souček. So when Thomas Souček bombs forward, he then drops in alongside Alvarez and he can sit. So those two could sort of like move around. Edson Alvarez would be the constant shield in front of the back four. Somerville and Bowen wide left, wide right, respectively. And I'd also go with Danny Ings, as you can see there. I mean, and I would say, instead of doing what we've done previously, which seems to be play Antonio for 60 minutes and then sub him and bring someone else on, whether it's Danny Ings or whoever. I'm sort of like thinking, well, why don't we try it the other way? Why don't we try it where someone else plays up top and we sling him on for the last 30 minutes and say, right, you've got 30 minutes, rip their back line a new one. Yeah. And like you say, Danny Ings, for me, couple of things really. My thinking behind this is, number one, exactly what you said. You know, when he's been involved, he's caused problems for opposition back lines. You know, he is very busy. I will say that. You know, did he score last week? No, but like you say, he got an assist. Yes, did he intend it as an assist? I don't believe for a nanosecond that he did.
No.
He would have been, make no mistake, he would have been making a shot at goal, and it was the worst shot you've ever seen in your life, and yet it led to a goal. He got an assist, so fair enough. He got a goal involvement, if not a goal. He also played a part in the penalty. Was it contentious? Yes, but he can't help that. But it is what it is. He also salvaged the point away at Fulham, so he's got that in his credit. He's also got a little bit of history with Nottingham Forest in a claret and blue shirt, because don't forget, it was against Forest that we was in that season. We won the Conference League. We was in the wrong end of the Premier League, and it was looking like we might be getting sucked into a relegation dogfight. He scores 2 goals. It was 0-0 when he scored them as well. So it's not like he scored 2 goals at the in a 3-0. And it was 3-0 at that point, sort of thing. The game was done anyway. It's like they were at 0-0, and he's gone bang bang 2-0 at that point. We went on to win the game 4-0 against Nottingham Forest at London Stadium. So he has a little bit of history with this team, and I'm working that little bit of, maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia, it's sort of whatever, little bit of sentimentality, but I'm just sort of thinking, well, fuck it, why not?
I mean, look, I can get, in an ideal world, Danny Ings is not a lone front man. He doesn't really have the attributes to the height, the strength to hold it up, but you just got to play a little slightly different way. I agree, Rob. We need to mix it up in midfield. Lewis Orford, I think, is absolutely tearing it up in the Premier League too. Looks a massive talent to me. And one thing, you know, some people might not be fussed about this. I am a little disappointed we don't have one academy player in the squad, Rob. Like, that is poor. We've got the Academy of Football emblazoned on the side of the pitch. We don't have one lad in the squad. Now, in my mind, look, I know this is just me and I'm going off on a bit of a tangent. When we're bringing in a new manager, we've got the likes of Mark Noble, whatever Noble's title is, yeah? When we're bringing in a new manager, I would be saying the culture of this club is bringing players through, and we want, a few players in the match day squad that have come through the academy. That is that's our DNA, and that is our mantra.
100%.
So to look at the starting 11 and the bench, and there's not one player, and I think that's the first time in a long time that's happened, Rob, because we've always had Noble's always been there. Rice has always been there. Ben Johnson's always been there. And now they've all gone, you kind of think, hold on. And then I'm looking at some of the other clubs, your Spurs, your fucking Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, and they've got loads of them in there, Rob. So I want to see a change in that. Look, 100%. They've got to be good enough. But we said this on a text group that we're in. Okay, yeah, it is what it is. But look, I just think there's no one can tell me that Lewis Orford couldn't have been doing what Carlos Soler's done in a West Ham shirt in the first team.
I'm sure that Lewis Orford could do absolutely fuck all in a West Ham shirt.
Yeah, exactly. I just think having them players on the bench, at least, it gives the whole academy a bit of glimmer of hope that, look, that could be me one day.
Even if they didn't get brought on the pitch.
No. But I just think that's what the academy is there for. So look, that's a little disappointment, but that's by the by. We've got a big game today, Rob, and I think every game's important. But you look at it, this is the 10th game of the season, yeah?
Yeah, 10th league game, yeah.
So all of a sudden, if we win, you're looking at it and going, well, it hasn't been great, but it's a new manager, and we've won 2 on the split. Like, this is quite a pivotal game for where we are in the season, and the lads should be confident off the back of last week. And if we get another win, get the ball right. But even if we got a draw, Rob, I'd be happy just to keep the unbeaten run going.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with all that being said, who's the West Ham player, the guy in claret and blue, that you think is going to be the key to Julian Lopetegui getting a 3-pointer or even a point?
Well, I think for me, Rob, he's got to start. It's Crescencio Somerville. You know, I just think he's got to be confident. He looks a confident player anyway, Rob. I think
Yep.
he's always looking to take people on and have a shot. He wants to score goals. That's what I like about him, Rob. He looks hungry. He looks like he'll go, give it to me. I'll take him on. And that's what I want to see. Bit of excitement. And hopefully he got his first goal last week. And I'm hopeful we can get another one or two today if he starts the game.
So give us your score prediction.
Oh, I'm going to have to say, I think we're going to win 3-1, Rob.
Oh,
I think, I think it's going to be a close game, but I can see us hopefully going a 2-1 ahead towards the end of the game and then doing them another one on the break. So that's my score prediction for today.
wow. Peter says he reckons it's going to be the other way. You cynic! You cynic, Peter! You sure you're not a Forest fan? What's going on? Wolf says 3-1 would be amazing, and I'm guessing he's referring to your 3-1 prediction and not Peter's.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, you know, I'm always of the opinion that a point away from home in the Premier League is never to be frowned upon, especially a team that's in the form that Forest are in. This people might turn around and say it's quite a sort of pessimistic viewpoint. I wouldn't have a problem. Wouldn't have a problem if we went to the City Ground and got a point. Like I say, with the form that they're in, the form that we're in as well, quite honestly. Yes, I know we beat Man United last week, but generally speaking, have we been, as West Ham fans, have we been happy with the form this season? I think you'd have to say not. And part of that is going to be tied in with the level of expectation that we've had and have with the outlay that we've had in the summer, the players that we've brought in, their purported reputations, and all of those things combined. I guess that we've obviously sat here and thought we should be doing better than what we are.
Yeah.
And you look at Forest and you go, and I saw a video, Gonzo was talking about it on Hammer's Chat, where he turns around and says that basically even our own head coach is turning around and saying that Forest, they're doing well, and part of that is because they have an identity. They have a sort of like a cohesive way of playing, etc., etc. And then I sort of take a step back and I sort of go, do you know what? That's the complete opposite of us in the main this season. We've just looked like I'm not quite sure what we are at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, are we a sort of like we're a team that plays with a high line, but we don't seem to have any sort of like real pressing intent.
Yeah.
And for me, I sort of look and go, well, that's completely. Those two things. If you're playing a high line, you have to be a hard pressing team. If you're not a hard pressing team, guess what? You're going to get ripped a new one.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened a lot of the times this season. You know, maybe not throughout a match, but maybe in a half, and and that's sometimes the difference between success and failure in the Premier League.
Yeah. No, I know. And to be honest, Rob, just looking at some of the stats that you've been coming out on the ticker, they look, and like I say, they've got the second best defensive record in the league behind Liverpool, and I think a lot of that it's obviously the system, but they've got some good players. So I think, yeah, it's going to be a tough ask, but I'd be happy with a draw, but I'm going to stick with a 3-1 win to us.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to go a 1-1 draw. I think that I think we'll go 1-0 down, and it'll probably be Chris Wood if he plays. As I say, there is a bit of a doubt over him, but if he plays, he'll probably score because he's got 7 goals in the Premier League this season. So it's fairly likely he'll be on the score sheet if he plays. But I just think that hopefully the confidence will be there. Somerville, it was his birthday in the week. He'll be hopefully have the bit between his teeth. He'll be playing with a bit of confidence, a bit of a swagger, and he'll want to really nail down that starting place on the left-hand side of our midfield, because I think if he can do that, I think Kudus comes straight back in once his suspension is served. And I think it's Paqueta that's in trouble. I really do. I think it will be from that point on, if Somerville takes his opportunity, for me, once Kudus is back, I think you'll probably see a change in the lineup, and it will be Somerville left, Bowen right, and it will be Kudus in the middle, and you'll have Paqueta on the bench, sort of twiddling his thumbs, and he's then got to wait for his opportunity. So
yeah. I mean, look, I've said it numerous times. I think Kudus should be up front. I think he's got all the attributes to be a good striker. So we'll see what happens. He's out for a few more games. Hopefully, Somerville continues to impress.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts before we decamp, Ben?
No, mate. Just hopefully we can keep the unbeaten run going. Hopefully, get 3 points and start flying up the table.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that this is. I mean, I said that the game against Man United was pivotal. I still believe it could be a pivotal moment in the season, but I think that it wouldn't do us any good if we win one game, lose the next game. You know, we need to get some sort of positive result. And like I say, I don't think that a draw is not a positive result away from home against a team that's in the form that they're in and with the form that we're in as well, aligned with that. I think that all of those things, I think that if we got a point, that would be positive for me. If we could get 3 points, my God, that puts us in fine fettle, and that shoots us up the table and just really sort of starts to give us that confidence that I think that really we've been lacking this season, and hopefully we can start to put a little bit of a consistent run together. Don't forget, Everton come to London Stadium the following game. Will that be easy? No. But do I think we're capable of winning it? Yes. So if we can get 7 points out of a 9 point sort of available over the course of the Man United, Nottingham Forest, Everton game, I think that we then go into that international break in some really good, because there isn't an international break after the Everton game, isn't there? Or is it the game after that?
Don't know.
Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I know there's an international break somewhere in November. I mean, that would be quite a good thing to go into that international break in good form, and then sort of like we can reset and go again, sort of like in the sort of like towards a busy Christmas period. So what's not to like? So, right, we're going to disappear. Guys, thanks for joining us. And as I always ask you to do, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Ben's already decided to disappear. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. All these things are free of charge, ladies and gentlemen. They take a couple of seconds of your time, and they help to grow the channel into something bigger and better than it currently is. And we always thank you very much indeed for your support. Talking of support, please don't forget to give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. We'll see you next time. Come on, you Irons, and hopefully we can chop down those tricky trees.
Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons.